Woo.
So getting back to how Mouse ruined comics.
Okay.
All right, 30 seconds. Your 30 seconds are up. No more boomer music.
Stop right there, criminal scum.
Hey, it is Wednesday. It is the Mattriarchy. I am here with a whole bunch of people we'll talk about in a second. But first, I have to apologize to Specs. I dropped you right. I pulled you on right when I hit live. So no prep. We just totally went in there unprepared. So I probably
I'm like Batman. I'm like Batman. I got it. No prep.
Oh, excellent. I like it. Okay. So tonight we are joined by our ever-present co-host Twitless.
Hey.
Yeah, we've got Tyler from Draw and Talk.
What up?
Nicholas Mueller from the Divine Anomaly series of books.
Howdy, howdy.
And Specs, the creator of Legacy the View.
Yeah.
So how are we all doing tonight?
Specs can eat my sack because his character is called Boots, and we got rivalry because it's like, what's your fetish? Hands or feet? That's what we got going on right now.
The popular one is the one.
One of them's got a category on some sites, the other one doesn't. So I think Boots might win.
There you go. Oh, Brian is here from Rags, the greatest person on the panel, he says. So.
I would just like to formally announce that I've joined the cult of Brian now, and it's the best thing I could have done.
Brian, if you want to talk about killing things, characters off, we can bring you on. So we got an extra slot. So
you guys ready for that?
You got to promise not to make everybody die laughing too hard. That's the only thing I got to ask. So we'll see how that goes. So today, Specs got a hold of me a few weeks ago and said, "Hey, I got a campaign coming on. I want to sell some books, and I want to talk about it." And I said, "What do you want to talk about?" He said, "What about killing things? What about killing off characters? What do you think about that?" I said, I love that idea, because I believe that when you kill a character, they got to stay good and dead. So, yeah. So, make no problem.
But that's my stance, and I have to disagree with Matt. Crap, this is gonna be a hard night.
No.
This is gonna be a hard night.
Yeah, so that's the thing.
That's what she said.
So we'll talk about that. But Twitless, since you're really good at vamping on stuff, say some things while I send Brian a link.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Let me make sure. Can everyone hear me? Is my internet better?
You're good,
Yes.
man.
Okay,
Yes.
right. Last week was terrible. I don't know what it was. So death. Yeah. Well, actually, I guess the first thing I should start off with is the quote you started with for the show, which is killing your darlings. It's often, I don't know if you guys were aware of this, it's often misattributed to William Faulkner, which is where I thought it came from, which is in writing, you must kill your darlings. Apparently, Faulkner was quoting another British writer, I think, by the name of Arthur Quiller Couch. So, in case you ever need some bar trivia, the originator of the phrase "kill your darlings" is from not from Faulkner, but from some other writer I've never heard of.
I hate being on this show because everyone here is so stupidly smart.
I was just gonna say, you guys just make me feel stupid when you open your mouth.
Well,
I'm
the
oh
phrase came from Faulkner. It's like, dude, Batman stole Joker's car once in a Christmas song. That's where we're
Christmas,
at.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to set the bar really high so when Brian comes on,
bring it down a few notches.
Brian can just drag it to the floor.
You're talking to artists. We don't use words.
Yeah.
Yeah, middle school reading level.
Yes, middle school reading level.
Actually, can you bring an elementary for me?
The idea of killing your darling has the idea that the writer's job in editing sometimes means they have to take out their best parts to make the whole story work better.
Or the thing they think is their best. Oftentimes, I've heard some writing advice where it says the thing that you think is the best is often the thing that needs to be slashed to pieces. Because when you think as the creator, when you think it's the best, it often means that you lack objectivity towards it, and there's probably something missing.
See, I have a disagreement with that, because when people tell me something's not the best, I say no, it is.
Okay.
Facts.
The Nick Mueller key to success.
Yep.
No,
and it's worked.
It is.
It's worked.
We call this subverting expectations. Like, there's no way he can write something that bad. Oh, I will.
Yeah.
Trust me. I'll do it.
Just hear me out,
You don't
guys.
think I won't?
Hear me out.
Okay,
This is how you
so-
write a good movie. At the end of every movie, you reveal they're a Skywalker.
So the first question, let's go ahead and talk
Sounds
about
terrible.
this. Sounds terrible. I love it. So the first thing let's go ahead and talk about here is like, first of all, I've said my opinion about killing characters off in stories, in universes, that unless you've got a really, really good reason, they ought to stay good and dead. What do you guys think about that?
Why would you bring him back alive? But like, why would you bring him back alive anyway, though? It kind of defeats the whole person of like, whole reason of killing him. You know, so why bring him back alive? So, like,
the one reason I could think, right, is if like the return is part of the story, right? So like the return of Superman, like that was always on the table, but we got some really cool characters that were out of that, and we got to understand a little more about why we liked Superman by seeing other people play in his sandbox, right? So like I thought that was kind of cool, but that was always part of the plan. Or if you've got somebody that's a feint, right? So on my webcomic that no one's read, there's a story called National Villainy. And in National Villainy, there's a spoiler alert. Greg gets shot with a ray gun. And everyone thinks he's dead. And so everyone goes crazy about it. But he's not dead. He's been teleported to a different location for nefarious purposes. Right? But for 3 pages, it looks like he's dead. But he's not.
Yeah, that's the fake out, which is a
fake out.
Yeah, different.
And that's always part of the plan.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes you get an idea like that can be good if that's part of the
Would you say then that works with like Final Crisis, where they quote unquote killed Batman, but it was so that Batman could like have this like time travel adventure, and then he comes back realizing I need to create Batman Incorporated.
See, I don't believe anything in Final Crisis worked, so I'm the wrong guy to ask.
New topic.
All right.
No, I agree with you.
Matt, I think Brian's here. He's been in the back.
Oh, let me see. Oh, there he is.
Hail, Chief.
Never beer.
Never beer. Brian is here. Speaking of, I'm gonna drink this beer real quick.
Hail, brother.
Wait. Who are you again?
Some black guy on Twitter.
Okay,
No one important. I don't have a highly successful.
I'm just.
Oh man, I can't. I'm not allowed to talk shit anymore.
I'm just saying that because
you
said that to me before you dropped out of our call last time.
What? Who are you?
Yeah, you darn it! Did it again.
Matt, who's talking right now?
That was amazing. But yeah, I guess personally, I think like the fake out works really well, but I think that like sometimes it's leaned on kind of heavy too, right?
I heard. I have the same belief. If you're gonna kill a character, in my opinion, do what you can to freaking keep them dead. Scott Snyder, everyone's favorite writer here. Said, no, he's when he killed off Batman, he was told if you're gonna kill off a character, you need to have a way to bring him back, and like you just have to always have that in your mindset in mainstream comics. And he killed Batman, and literally the next like 2 issues later, we saw him alive. I mean, he was Bruce Wayne. He lost his memory, and then at the end of the arc, he got his memories back, and it was kind of cool. But it was also like, but maybe it was cool to have Jim Gordon as Batman.
I don't know, man. That was weird.
I think it would be cool if anybody else was Batman, but Batman at this point.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm in the if you're gonna kill him, keep him dead. You know, I saw the new preview for like what they're doing in DC. You know, Josh Williamson, and I was like, you know, if they actually go through with all these deaths, I think that's sick. If they don't, it's like going back to an ex-girlfriend over and over again, and I know what it's like.
Yeah, you do. You do.
What is it like?
You know. So even if they go through with it,
my girlfriend Ashley in high school cheated on me 3 times, and each time when I found out, I somehow ended up in bed with her. Like, oh, I guess I was wrong.
Somehow.
Yeah, successful.
Yeah,
she had to show you what she learned.
I'm out. I can't be in this stream.
Oh,
I'm curious. Does it reflect poorly on her or you?
Me.
Okay.
Report.
So,
man, I would like to report a murder. So I was going to say, even if they go through with all these deaths, we know at the end of the day, give it 10 years, those characters will be back. Because they
Yeah,
need to
and
milk
here's the
them
thing,
for
like,
everything that they're
It's
worth.
not even
Their
10
only
years now.
character I've ever seen get completely murdered and brought back in a way. Well, I won't say realistic way, but in a way that's still like kept to the story and values was Sho Fukumachi in the Guyver. That's probably like, the only character I've ever seen. No, because look, they ripped the control metal off his forehead and he melted into a big giant pile of goo. And then that control metal, as it was left to get studied, reconstructed his entire body, and he went berserk and killed everybody. And it was fucking dope. But that's like one of the few times where I've actually seen a comic bring back a character and it's like, oh, dang. Dragon Ball kind of skirts it through its Dragon Ball wishes, but you already know going in that that's part of the story.
Like everyone's gonna die, and then they're gonna have to bring everyone back. That's part of it.
Yeah,
well,
but
and,
it
like,
does undermine death to a large extent in that universe, though.
yeah, and I'm going to say, like, I'm going to defend the Return of Superman again, because the way they did it, like, it was there was a battle in the other world for Superman and his father, right, for John Kent. So like, it was a whole like Stygian conflict that was going on there, and it had stakes. And this is at a time when, you know, DC was doing pretty good about like keeping Jason Todd dead. The Flash was, the Barry Allen was still dead. That the people were being pretty serious about that for the most part. So so even him coming back felt to me like it had some gravitas to it. I don't know, for some people it didn't, but that's how I felt reading it when I was a kid. So I really liked that, because it wasn't just like, well, like when they brought Jason Todd back from the dead, right? Like that was just the shock value thing. And I was just like, God, that like, that's just cheap, man. And it undermined so much of what they'd done with Batman in the decade before, with him dealing with grief, with Tim Drake coming along, with all that stuff.
I did enjoy the Red Hood storyline, though. There were some cool moments.
It definitely had some cool moments, but I think it wore off after a while.
Yeah, because eventually everything just came back to the status quo.
Yeah, but then he was there.
I'm sorry, Nick. I didn't mean to talk over you.
No, it's all right. I'm used to it.
I'm sorry.
Used to people.
But yeah. So
Brian.
So Nick, what is your overall take on character deaths in the general?
Yeah. So in general, I think if you're going to resurrect a character, there needs to be some sort of setup. You need to have something that in your rule base, in the world building aspects of it, does it make sense? I think in most cases we can all agree that within the mainstream, it is a joke. It is done to death for marketing reasons. It's done to death for marketing. Yeah, okay. So it's pointless and it doesn't hold the value anymore. So as people that are reading these as ongoing, trying to get into these characters and everything, we can see when we're being played or it's just being used to get attention from people. So if it's we all expect
and like that's a whole world building piece about they're doing with X-Men right now, where nobody stays dead because they can just resurrect them again from the island. What the heck is up with that, right?
I don't know because I don't read trash.
Come on, Rob. You talking about Robin?
No, I was talking about the X-Men at that point.
Oh, okay.
Wait, is it Croatia?
Croatia.
Croatia, yeah.
Krakoa. You mean Krakoa?
Krakoa, yeah.
Yeah, the girls are from Croatia are pretty hot.
I hear the girls in Croatia. What is this place called?
Krakoa.
Croatia.
Krakoa, like they knife people who like give turtles straws.
I've heard that.
Well, I'm getting some plane tickets.
Sign me up.
All right.
I like crazy girls.
That's true.
Definitely.
What about crazy exes?
So the next, there we go. Mrs. H is correcting our spelling out there, and Storyteller says, "Don't read trash." So
exactly.
Good advice.
So okay. So the next question is: we've talked about what we think about death in comics. I think we all have a similar opinion that it ought to have some meaning and bringing characters back. Oh, actually, Specs, I never asked you exactly what your opinion on the subject was. I'm sorry.
But I was the first one to talk that said, "Why bring him back?"
Oh yeah.
They're gonna
That's
die.
right. Oh my goodness, what's wrong with me?
You didn't ask my
Wow. Who are you?
opinion. You know what?
Your opinion, Twitless? I'm sorry. Go ahead and take it then.
Oh gosh.
Say something philosophical.
You know, in Revelations, this is this.
You know, when C.S. Lewis killed Ascalon, what he was really trying to
We have gone there before.
Sorry.
When we ask
In fact,
questions about death, we also have to ask, what is life?
For a second, I thought you weren't joking, so I was like, "Oh shit, he's actually going for this."
Now we could talk about this in a Bergsonian sense.
Oh, my God.
Is that even me?
Okay. So,
Words.
All right. So,
how many?
for real.
So, I'm sorry. Were you going?
No, I'm
for
going to
real?
say for reals. Okay.
For real.
I think death in comics. I'm probably not as much of a hardliner as Matt is on it. I do think that death is something you need to treat with a very treat it very seriously, because if you don't treat it seriously, and I'm not going to say these are the rules, this is how you can use death in your story, this is how you could use death in your story, because obviously, especially in fantasy and speculative fiction, it's kind of hard to nail down what the exact rules are. However, I would say as a general guideline that's probably very important to follow is that if you do not treat death seriously, neither will your audience. And if that is where your story ends up falling, you're going to have some issues with your storytelling in terms of adequately selling stakes to your audience. Because if there are no stakes, then why do I care about what's happening in the suspense and tension of that story? And typically, the biggest way to establish those stakes is to have mortality mean something. Because the biggest risk you could take is something that could kill you, right? And if that means something, then you have an easy access to creating stakes, which therefore create investment and involvement from your audience. And obviously, conversely, if you don't, then people are just like, well, why do I care? That's my real take. That's my real take.
So what you're saying is, if there are no stakes, you could probably get by with some chicken.
Yep.
That's exactly.
Exactly.
The other thing about that I think is really an issue is when they devalue death. I think they end up when a writer devalues death in a story, I think he ends up devaluing the life of the characters, right? And so, like the whole idea of planning for happily ever after suddenly doesn't matter because things just get disposable because they can just be reversed at any time, and I think that's a big problem.
Yeah, same thing with villains too. Like not just like hero death, but villain death. Like how many times has Norman Osborn and Harry came back? It's like, oh look, it's the Green Goblin. Again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why they brought him back the first time, right?
Like, how about Mary Jane and the Phoenix?
No, that was
Yeah, jeez.
Mary Jane and the Phoenix.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant what's her name?
Jean Grey.
Jean Grey.
Yeah, I thought you were
gosh.
cracking a joke, and I was starting to laugh at you.
Nah, there's
like,
just
wait,
me
wait,
being
am I too sober to get this joke? Hold on, I'm only 2 beers into my night.
It's gonna get worse.
Damn right it will.
All right, so we have some great engagement from chat already. Star Storyteller says, but sometimes if you kill off everybody too often, people learn to not trust you as a storyteller and not get attached to your characters.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but then
What about
again, if you're gonna do that, you're gonna set your storyline around that. Like, what's another good example? Gantz.
Walking
Gantz
Dead.
is
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Gantz Walking
Yeah.
Dead. It's perfect
Yeah.
for
But
Well,
they've set that up not to expect the unexpected.
I would also counter as a good bouncing off that point. Gantz still makes death very serious, even though it can be reversed.
But within the rules of what they set up, though.
Exactly. So it's like there are characters who die in that story who do not come back, and when they die, it is a very serious matter. But like there is a mechanism, and it is part of the story to get people back. But it's also really hard to do so. It's not a revolving door. You have to earn. How many points do you have to get bring someone back into Gantz? I forget.
it was either like 1,000 or 100.
Yeah, it was a bunch.
Yeah.
Those are
Well,
different
the point still
numbers there,
stands.
man.
It's like, you can create a story around death and resurrection and bringing people back, but you got to do it smartly. You just can't,
Or you create it as a, or you create it as a trope. Dragon Ball Z, the trope is at the end of the battle, everyone is gonna die, and then we have to get the Dragon Balls, and then that becomes more like a problem where you go, oh, in this arc they'll just kill everyone. Oh crap, but all the Dragon Balls are over here. How are we gonna do that? And you can create problems with your trope that is, we're gonna kill and bring everyone back every time.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point because like Dragon Ball Super had the Tournament of Power, and they pretty much killed off all the losing universes. And at the end, I think it was Android 17 was like, all right, we're gonna resurrect all the people that died as the wish in order to set balance back.
Now how
there's
about,
ways of writing your story around death and bringing people back where it doesn't feel like empty. And then you have like the Marvel and the DC Comics methods, like, oh yeah, and then we're just bringing this dude back for no apparent.
I would argue that by Dragon Ball Super.
Of course, you would argue.
Oh, jeez.
What does Nietzsche say, Twitless?
So Sun Tzu said in The Art of War, right?
I was just gonna say Dragon Ball Z is perfect in how it does the death thing. I think the stakes have been somewhat.
Did you say it is or not? It is or isn't perfect?
I
is or is not?
Is not. It's not
Oh,
perfect.
fuck you!
All right. I got two examples. Did y'all read Swords of X from X-Men?
No.
No, we don't read trash.
Yeah, we don't read
Who
trash
is this guy?
It's a good story though. But when they died there in that tournament, they came back messed up, so they couldn't die because the death wasn't guaranteed. So like
that tournament they ran during the new versions that they've been doing, right?
Well, and that actually I don't know that they got that idea from there. Probably not, but there is an in Welsh legend in the Mabinogion, it talks about that about a magic cauldron that you guys, the Black Cauldron from
Dang it, I was about to make a Black Cauldron joke, but it's all part of this, damn it.
Well,
I was about to make a black
William
joke,
Alexander
but damn.
got this story from Welsh folklore. But what it is the idea is that if a soldier dies in battle and they're put into this cauldron, they come back out, but they're mindless and can't speak. They're just killing machines. So that they have
Man,
that sounds a lot like Tyler's ex.
Hey, listen. Ashley Grinley was the love of my life in my senior year of high school. Okay,
And now you're just a mindless fucking machine. Look at all these things you're having.
Man, so that's you just dropped your name. That's hardcore.
Oh,
Just be known as the artist formerly known.
Yeah, why are you doxing people, Tyler?
I know,
we were above this.
go find her. I haven't seen her in 20 years.
All right, so Mrs.
good.
H asked me a question, so I get to pause everything and answer it. So
Boo this.
Do it.
Put it on the screen.
do writers inappropriately relish character-driven, trauma-fueled death? Answer me. I think we should all answer that question.
Ooh, that is a good one.
It makes my pee hard, yeah.
Matt, I always tell people on my stream, like, the Mattriarchy is the most, like, mature, best, like, well-educated podcast, but we are ruining it tonight, man. I am sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll be normal, Brian, I guess.
No, be yourself. Be yourself.
Yeah.
What have
I
I
think
done?
that I think it depends on the genre that writers work on. I know I write a lot of comedy, so some of the times we use death as a punchline, but sometimes we're also looking at trying to deal with the serious consequences of living in a superhero universe where kids are trained to be villains at school. So that's a factor in some of our stories too. Inappropriately though, I'm trying to navigate toward happy endings with a big macro story, so I wouldn't think my use of death is inappropriate, but maybe.
All right, Tyler, what do you think?
Let's see. Do writers inappropriately relish character-driven, trauma-fueled death? I think it depends. I mean, you get things like, torture porn, where writers, they'll really try to make it like really bad and gruesome, just do it for no reason. I think
say about my books.
Well, where is Demon Hunter Raven?
He's dead.
I
Jumping ahead of
think
my script there, man.
I think for me, whenever I've killed a character, and here's the thing, I love killing characters in my stories. For me, whenever I kill characters, it's to unlock something. It's to unlock a moment of either knowledge in the story, or to kind of break the character that is maybe most affected by the other person's death, and it gives them the opportunity to grow, or what's the opposite of grow? Twitless. What's the word? Shrink. Yeah, you know, just
that's what you're going for.
they either grow as a character or they get really set back on it. And so I use death as a way to like to try. I do use death. Okay, you know what? Do I do? Yes, I do it inappropriately, Mrs. H, and I'll do it every day.
I was going to say, I think you're answering that question in the affirmative.
I loved it.
I have no regrets, Nicholas. What do you think?
So I think just like in terms of, do the rules fit the story and the universe that you're building? Are you using it within the appropriate means? Are you oversaturating it? Does it have relevance, meaning? How does it affect the characters? I think there's been a few times where characters have, gone to the grave, and then we kind of just flashed past the reactions because it was just kind of didn't really matter, didn't pursue anything further beyond that means. So I think it has to be appropriate. So can we get into the point where it's overly used or fetishized even? And I think we've probably gone past that point in many cases. And also, did you connect with the character? Like, is it a meaningful death? Does it hold anything of value to the story? And the characters, how are they going through it?
With what Nicholas said, though, it's in talking about bringing back kind of Final Crisis. Martian Manhunter dies, and it's just a panel.
Yeah, that's stupid.
And that's it. Like, that's all they did. It was a panel, and then there was like a 2-second funeral scene. They're like, oh, he died.
Well, how about in Ultimatum with the Ultimates, when they had like that giant flood by Magneto hit everyone, and then you just had people randomly dying off panel, and you're like, wait, Daredevil's dead?
Yeah,
exactly. It was like grotesque. It was just shock value.
We could do a whole stream about Ultimatum, because was it Jeff Loeb, whatever, just murdered the Ultimate Universe?
But when you understand what he was going through in his own life and the death of his son,
right,
it totally makes sense that he was in that mental place. But I wasn't mentally there.
I didn't lose my son. Don't do this to me, man.
Well, and one of the things that's one of my big problems with Kingdom Come and with Civil War is both of them, they make death really cheap on it because we don't know what a lot of the characters that died.
Okay, we already had the Kingdom Come debate.
I know, but it's relevant to the
Wait, what are we coming on?
Oh, gee. It's fair.
All right. Sorry.
Specs, you're up next. What do you think of this question? Do writers inappropriately relish words?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. You fancy pantses?
Not really a fan of relish.
Yeah.
Do writers inappropriately relish character-driven, trauma-fueled death? Brian, what do you think?
Okay, so for me, it's like, what does this death bring to the story? Is it adding to the character or the hero's journey, or is it taking away? Is it adding to the struggle? Are they overcoming something? It just really depends on what story I'm trying to tell on how that death, applies to the story. So if it's just a random character NPC dying, it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. That's like plus points. But if it's somebody like the character knows or somebody another character is close with, then that kind of adds to the story. So it just, for me, just really depends on how it adds or takes away from the story.
Well, and one thing I'd like to point out about Rags, for those of you guys who have read it, and if you haven't,
wait, I'm sorry, I can't ship post anymore. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. But one of the things that's great that I think does a great job of it is like deaths are moments and points in time in Rags, but because he's dealing with a person's inner life so much, because of so much of Regina's life is we see her in her mind and her flashbacks and her memories and her trauma. Even the death is not the end of the character's arc, because they continue to affect the journey Regina's going through.
Right, and then we also brought, I don't want to say like brought them back, but the character does appear later as kind of like maybe a ghost or a hallucination. I don't know. It's left up to the audience interpretation.
Yep.
But again, that's all. How does this apply to the story? How is this going to add to or take away to the characters?
And so I think that some of the question comes to is the
Computer
writer
not
trying to
charged.
advance his characters, or is the writer simply trying to traumatize the readers? Right? Are they just trying to make the readers?
Right, like something like The Boys, right? The Boys, I love it. Don't get me wrong, I love Garth Ennis's work, but something like The Boys or even Crossed is really more like torture and murder porn than it is, an actual story. Let's just keep it real.
Oh, we lost Specs again.
Man,
all right.
He's having the worst time right
Hey,
now.
everyone who's in the chat, y'all need to back Specs' book, Legacy of the View and Boots, because Homeboy needs enough money to get better internet and get out of the hood. That's his words, not mine. From last night, give this guy some help, because I know Nicholas has some of his issues. I have all of them. All right.
I just heard
Links
about
in
him.
the
I'm
chat.
sorry.
The Specs also can eat my sack, though.
Oh, jeez. Specs, you back?
Oh,
He
wow.
just shows up and he's like, "Eat it." No.
Especially back
it
your
up,
mics off.
Kickstarter. Legacy of the View.
Legacy of the View.
And
Not the View.
Is this the View with Whoopi Goldberg,
Oh,
or this is like a
no.
completely different view?
Yeah, way different view. It's a
I'm
way better.
assuming
the
it's
whole
different
world
one.
has
I'm
been
assuming
affected by the last week.
Man, if I could just take the last week back.
All right, so
all over again.
Baby,
My-
take me back. Oh.
I'd like to. So, in answer to Mrs. H's question, you know who else really likes to torture his audience? Charles Dickens.
Dan Slott?
Dude, we're doing
Oh,
comics.
man.
I know.
Does
Well,
Dan Slott even
He's
like
not
writing?
wrong though.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, so I was playing into the meme. You know. You guys
Oh,
were saying
yeah,
about the meme.
nerd.
Oh, Charles Dickens.
Let's everyone put in
More
your
porridge, please.
He did put Scrooge through quite a bit of crap.
put everyone smoke your pipes as I take you on a journey. to
Okay,
the story
but you have let's be like, when you have like the Tale of Two Cities and you have the character of Sidney Rigdon, his death is very impactful at the end.
Yeah.
It means a lot. It means a lot. It wasn't just, oh, let's just kill this main character. It was like a redemption of this alcoholic guy who's like,
And the beauty of the thing is, it was like a full on sacrifice. The dude, because he'd been nothing with his life. He'd done nothing with his life.
Yes.
He was totally in love with this girl who was 100% out of his league, right? And rather than be bitter about her like being off with his doppelganger, he said, you know what? If I die, my doppelganger can make more babies with this girl that I
wasn't
love.
actually trying to steer this conversation towards Dickens. That was
No, but it just shows like, if you're gonna kill a character, like Sidney's death was his final form. That was Sidney's final form as a character. Like, that's Super Saiyan 3 for him.
all right.
That's kind of lackluster.
That's a
That's what a messed up dude that Sidney was though. That's part of the whole deal.
All right, but to seriously answer the question though, I think some writers.
I was seriously answering the question.
I know you were. I'm saying I'm answering it seriously now. But I think some writers actually do enjoy torturing their audience by putting them through the trauma of killing characters. Obviously, Tyler falls into that camp. So.
Yeah, I think Dave's right on the money. By the way, we're getting a hard R for this episode.
It's gonna be X pretty soon.
Yeah.
It demonetized.
Demonetized. Well,
Oh, Specs, you're back.
What
Hey, all right.
I can't.
it always gets demonetized when I'm around.
I can't be monetized because I don't have enough subs. So.
Well,
Right.
guys,
Oh,
start subbing. What is
then-
this? Come on.
Or we keep this show unfiltered.
Yeah, we keep it on the down low. Nobody even knows about
Smash that like button, ladies and gentlemen.
it. If you want. That's,
Smash. Is this Ashley?
oh.
Oh.
This
I have a
stream is just
I have a
setup
serious
for
question.
Brian.
I have an actual serious question. So, with the MCU having actually gauged death as an actual thing in their movie so far, what do you guys think the impact of introducing variations in the multiverse sort of equation to things are
That's a
going
good
to
question.
mean? Because
Like
we had death meaning something, and now they're kind of going to unwind that.
like I heard rumors. They were like John Krasinski. He tried to what's it called? Audition for Captain America, and he didn't. But he didn't get it. But we might be able to see him as in multiverse.
Yeah, and I think that's lame.
I think it's a cop out.
Yeah,
it could be, but also I think at the same time, if the MCU wants to start doing multiverses, it's kind of like the perfect opportunity to do so since they murdered so many people. And I mean, there's people that aren't coming back. So, if they ever killed Spider-Man in the MCU, that would be a great jumping on point for Miles Morales. Because the problem with Miles Morales currently is that he's sharing space with Spider-Man, and it's kind of like the world's too big to have two Spider-Men.
Yeah.
Well, that's
the same
exactly what
universe.
happened.
Unless you were to do it kind of like I think I was talking about this with Tyler a couple days ago. Unless you handled it more like a common writer, where being a Spider-Man's more of a mantle, but it gets passed on from like a generation to generation. It's a completely new story arc per character. Then yes, it would work. But since Marvel doesn't do it that way, we're kind of stuck with what we got.
I mean, did they pull that off with the new version of Loki? Like, did he come across as a whole entire new separate character from the already pre-established version that, spoilers, died in Infinity War?
Well, he's the same guy.
Is he basically the same guy?
Well, at the beginning, he wasn't. He was the same guy from Avengers, but towards the end, he became the same guy he was at the end of Endgame or Infinity Wars, because he watched some videos and seen how he was and the events he did, to be a hero, I guess.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah, it was like, hey, here's how we're gonna retcon all the mess we made.
I gotta be completely honest. I tuned out of everything Disney has done since Endgame was so terrible.
What?
I don't want to spend the time talking about how horrible Endgame was.
What? Guys, I'm 100% confident Matt doesn't enjoy anything.
Oh, I enjoy lots of things. I like.
He enjoyed Ashley.
No.
This poor girl, guys. Her mom died.
Okay,
that doesn't affect us.
Lots of people
Didn't
died.
affect me at the funeral.
we're killing off characters, right?
We're talking about characters, yeah, not people.
But I think with the MCU right now, especially with like No Way Home, I thought No Way Home was a perfect opportunity to, if they wanted to bring Miles Morales, to have him slip in there. I thought that was a perfect opportunity, and they missed it. But I think it would. I don't think it actually would be bad to have like a different version of Captain America, because he's not going to replace the Chris Evans. Like Tom Holland's Spider-Man doesn't replace Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and it doesn't replace Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. They're their own entity. And so, I have my wife is like, I love Tom Holland Spider-Man. I'm like, I fucking hate him. But and I can say I grew up with Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man. And then, maybe my kid's like, yeah, well, I grew up with some TikToker who became Iron Man. They're like, I grew up with transgender Iron Man. I'll be like, good for you. But then now we get into the point of that's now the same problem with comics. Now it's the same problem with comics. Dave. Okay.
Dave, thank you for taking Tyler's place in the chat.
Hey, Dave, eat my sack.
I don't think
I also agree Tyler is also wrong.
Yeah.
All the time.
But I don't know. Okay, if there's multiple this is actually a legit question. If there becomes multiple versions of Iron Man and Captain America and whatnot, all these characters that we've grown to love for the last 10 years in the MCU, and they start making new versions, does that have the same problems that we have in comic books with these characters living on for too long?
Well, no.
I would say no, because if you're talking about like movies in Hollywood, they have I'll actually hand it to them. They like to kill people off and keep them dead because it's too much money to hire that actor back. So once that actor retires, it's like, all right, you're dead next, or they'll reboot it and start something else. So I think you have a better chance of seeing a character get a decent, I don't even want to say decent, but a story arc, if you will, like a beginning, a middle, and an end, rather than here in comics is like, okay, all right.
So
we're
Brian,
going
you're
back to
fine.
the
You're fine with Chris Evans, Captain America, and then 2 years later we get John Krasinski, Captain America.
I mean, if the story's good, yeah, sure.
All right, that's all I want.
So
that's all.
I think one of the problems that you have with some of this stuff is like that human beings really age, right? So you end up with a thing where 40-year-old Robert Downey Jr. Was Iron Man, and then he was also Iron Man at 50, and he was visibly 50 when it's supposed to have been like 3 years later.
But it doesn't matter anymore because look at the Book of Boba Fett. Luke Skywalker is walking around same way he did it in 1970. So
spoilers. Oh
yeah, I haven't paid attention to anything Lucasfilm has done since The Last Jedi was so terrible.
Okay.
Spoilers. Some of us don't get to watch TV anymore.
Hey, you got YouTube, man.
Hey, look, with a little bit of whiskey, you can put your kids out for maybe 2 to 6 hours, man. Just saying.
I don't know how I answered my wife with that one.
Just give her a little bit of whiskey, and then she's out too.
But not only that, look at Nick Fury in Captain Marvel.
It's true.
So Disney got plenty of money. That mouse has big pockets.
That's true.
But what I was getting around to saying though is I think that the idea that I think one of the problems we have with modern comics is that they have given up on the idea of the big epic universe in continuity, story where they're telling one story about an entire universe. I think they've pretty much given up on that, and now they're just letting anybody write anything. And now, especially in DC, you've got the linear verse, so everything happens and nothing happens, and so it's a totally different thing. I think that they've given up on the big story. Marvel pulled off the big story really well up until the second Avengers movie, and then they, in my mind, totally shat the bed, and started flipping birds at all of their fans. But most of the fans were too starstruck to notice it. And so,
are you talking about the movies?
Yes.
You didn't like Age of Ultron?
I liked Age of Ultron, sort of, kind of, but most of that had to do with the fact that I was starstruck. It's not terrible for its own sake, but Tony shouldn't even be in it. The fact that he exists is problematic and ruins everything that happened before it.
In Age of Ultron?
Yep.
The movie?
Should have retired at the end of Iron Man 3. Never.
Oh, you know what's so funny is I've never seen Iron Man 2 and 3. I went, these don't look good. So I can understand your point. If Iron Man 3 came out before all that, I can understand you saying, yeah, he should have been retired.
Yeah, Iron Man 3 is the end of Tony's arc. He doesn't.
Well, they set it up that way.
Yeah. Anything more.
So what you do, guys, is you do what I do, and you don't watch 2 and 3, so that Endgame is the end of his arc.
Yeah, Endgame is the end of his arc is more insulting. But I don't want to get into that. Okay, so.
But what if I do?
It'll be the death of our stream. Oh.
There you go. So let's change subjects a little bit here. Have you guys, anybody gone through and killed a major character in their story? How and why?
Nicholas, you should go first.
Never done that.
Yeah, go first, Nick.
Dang it. All to heck and Chimney Chime. Well, anyways, I think we should talk about Ozai and how he really wanted to make the Fire Nation great again.
What?
That came out of nowhere. That is awesome.
I've never even seen Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I knew you don't like. This is why you don't like things, Matt.
I don't watch trash.
No. It's good. Don't watch Legend of Korra though. That whiny.
Is that directed by Axel Braun?
I don't know.
Oh,
wait,
no, gosh.
No.
All right, this is definitely getting demonetized now.
We just went into the X realm. Okay. Okay, so killing off characters, man, I don't. Nobody even cared about who I was until I killed off my character. Maybe that's how I'll start it, because the minute I said that, everyone's like, yeah, I'll buy your book. Now I'm like, why? He was alive and you didn't care. And now he's dead and you'll suddenly pick up his book. Joke's on you. I'm just going to bring him back just in spite of all you guys.
We're waiting.
Oh man, I love spite stuff. That's what I live for.
Oh man, Mrs. H just dropped a next chapter in the saga of Spider Pickle based upon our conversation.
I
Blue.
I have a 15 issue series called Demons, and it was only supposed to be 4 issues, and the focus of the first 4 issues was this father and son. The father was a priest, and the son is like this guy is this atheist kind of character, and as all these like demonic beings start coming out, his father's kind of like, you know, do you believe in God and blah blah blah. And at the end, the father sacrifices himself, and he goes to hell essentially, and he dies, and then the rest of the series is about the character trying to like both deal with his death, but also like, is there a way to bring my dad back from hell? And the goal of it was to always eventually have the dad come back from hell and be with his son. But I did also kill a character, and in the next issue we brought her back, and that to me has always been my biggest, like, at the end of that, like, we killed her, and then the character got really mad, and then he went into his final form. He beats the bad guy, and then at the end, you know, we set it up 4 issues in the past, prior, saying that if you become this certain type of angelic being, you can perform one miracle, and the goal was to always kill her, and then in 2 issues, once he gets his final form, he's able to perform this one miracle and bring her back. But I always felt like I did it too soon. Like, there wasn't enough impact for the character for you to go, oh, I can't believe that character died, and then like 2 issues later she's back. So that to me was my biggest mistake, is as a creator, I felt is like I might have killed a character and done it too, and then didn't give it time to have its real impact. Because it happens so fast, and then we brought her back.
I didn't even show the impact of my character.
The name of that character Ashley, by any chance?
No, her name's Chloe. She was based off of another girlfriend.
Is this one about Amanda?
First cut is the D.
Baby, I know.
Oh, from the chat, Dave's asking him to talk about Sherlock Holmes, and that's a really good question. We'll get into that in a second. Who else? Who else has killed off a major character?
I've killed off my main character. Nobody noticed, but I killed Regina twice. Yeah, twice in that book.
I remember once.
It's really, really subtle. You have to look for it.
Brian sat me down one night on an off air and showed me it, and I went, "There's no way I was ever gonna get this."
Was it a little death?
It was like in a really like.
No.
If you call getting a bullet to the boob little.
Yeah, I remember you.
Come on, I deserve a little more than just one laugh at that.
I'll give you half a chuckle.
You better.
Nah, I'll take it back.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, I had to actually show Tyler where she got shot through that window. That was like the second death, and nobody caught it. And it just makes me chuckle.
Yeah, so like for you, Brian, is that a good or bad thing like? How does that make you feel? Is that, like you said, it makes you chuckle? Is that did you do it on purpose? Like you're gonna have to think about this, kind of like an Easter egg. Like only the few will get this.
Well, I absolutely did it. I did a lot of things on that book on purpose, and if readers were paying attention, it was one of those things where like, holy shit, what is going on here? To kind of make it not a what were we called, a Walking Dead porn ripoff, something or another. So there's a lot of things that happen in that book where you're just like, okay, yeah, this is just a zombie titty book, whatever. But then it's like, if you paid attention to what was really happening on the subsurface level, it's like, oh, she just got deflated in the both literal and physical sense. She should be dead, and how is she still going on? And then even like on our Patreon bonus pages, we have this it's kind of like an epilogue scene where she's walking through, and you just see this blood spot just go larger and larger and larger and larger suddenly, and just never addressed. It's like, oh yeah, it's whatever. But there's something going on there we're just not saying, because we don't like to hold people's hands.
But the problem, do you ever have problems though where people assume context that you never put in there? and start.
Oh man, I'm not allowed to talk about that person anymore, man.
I'm obviously outside of that realm. But
Yeah. Yeah, all the time. Oh,
we haven't heard, sorry, I was gonna say we haven't heard from Specs in a while. So people.
He's meditating.
But no, I haven't killed a character off yet. I mean, I'm thinking about it, but I don't know. I mean, I'm killing characters in my story eventually, but the main character, I don't know. I might do it just for kicks and giggles.
There you go. And we have a Taylor Gibson in the chat says, when I kill off a character, they stay dead. And here's the point of that. If I'm going to kill off a character, I'd better know for absolute sure that I'm ready and willing to let them go forever.
Now, is a main character your protagonist, like Spider-Man? If you kill Spider-Man, or is it like killing off like
Mary Jane,
Harry Osborn, Mary Jane, whoever?
Yeah. I think either. I think anyone's going to be like intrinsic, who's going to leave an impact, right? So it's not just like, one story, like the one Tom King story I read that I didn't. Well, there's two that I read that I didn't hate. One of them was about a kid who's lost his parents, and Bruce Wayne feels really sad for him, and then it turns out that the dude killed his parents. He's a little serial killer, and so it's like an inversion of Bruce Wayne's story. And like, man, you feel bad that his parents are dead, because you evoke your feelings toward Bruce Wayne and his loss into this character, and then you find out that he did it, and so you have all these weird, and so their death is impactful for that 22 pages, but then it doesn't really impact Batman's life after that.
Is that the kid that he was going to adopt?
I don't think he was going to adopt him. I think he was looking at, because kids got like an uncle who was like away in some other country or something. I think, I don't know. I haven't read the thing in 2 years, and then Tom King went immediately to pissing me off again. So,
which isn't hard. He's a terrible writer, anyways.
Yeah,
I think it just has to be with purpose. Otherwise, there's really no point of either one having the character or two even just killing the character. I mean, I'm right now. I know which characters in my series are gonna die. I know. I have them, and I have everything planned, and I'm writing towards those moments for those characters, and I'm building on those so that when they happen, the reader can go, "Oh my gosh, like this hurts." Because if it's a character that it just keeps going on the sideline, you're like, "Hi, Billy," and you just go, "Oh, Billy's there." Like, you don't care. But if Billy starts going, "Hey guys, I really like you," and you start building, "Oh, Billy's this kid who's then you start going, "Oh, like this Billy's dead, it impacts me." But you've got to really think about it.
Well, I got a question on top of that then. Speaking of killing off characters too soon because you didn't plan ahead, what about Shredder from the very first issue of Ninja Turtles? He ended up being such a prominent character that he basically dies and comes back every iteration. I mean, they obviously ran into some issues because Shredder became kind of a main piece for their... he's associated with the main villain always, and it kind of put them into a predicament.
But as far as I know, it's like 4 different Shredders, though. It's not really the same guy.
Well, it depends on what you're reading from, like the cartoons or the comics. In the newest IDW, he's a reincarnated version of himself, which is, that is what that is.
I think part of it is understanding the consequences of the choices that you make as a writer. I think in writing you can kind of do anything. I think it's important to understand that the decisions that you make will eventually they will have an impact upon your audience and how they interpret and continue to interact with your story. So it's, you can bring a character back from the dead. You can kill a character. Both of those have consequences. Both of those, I think, have pros and cons. There are certain times if you kill a character and they stay dead, you lose access to that character and impact on the story. But if you commit to that bit, the impact of that character will be etched onto the minds and hearts of your audience, permanently. Uncle Ben, one of the reasons why Uncle Ben is still, I think, such a really important character for Spider-Man is the fact his death was so freaking meaningful and it has stayed the same. So if you brought back Uncle Ben, I think, there's some things you'd get out of that, I'm sure, but there's probably a lot you would lose.
I'm pretty sure he's going to come back as the next Spider-Man.
Oh,
If Uncle Ben's the next
I'd be
Spider-Man,
down for like Old Man Spider.
that would be awesome. But it's got to be Uncle Ben.
And he also has to cook nothing but rice.
I like Old Man. I do. Oh, geez. Oh, gosh. I just got that.
Womp, womp, womp. I'm only here on this stream for one reason and one reason only.
No, I was going to say, I like the idea of Old Man Ben. That's an interesting, like, at least for a one-shot comic, I could definitely get behind that.
Yeah, like what if? That would be a great what if.
A what if, yeah.
Well, they did it in Spider-Verse, so we already got him, so haha.
It's always one shot, yeah.
Yeah. I like I miss what if, right? I didn't buy a lot of them when I was young because I didn't find the individual stories appealing to me. And I was watching my nickels and dimes back then. I was a poor kid. But it's one of those things where like the concept of it's really cool,
Well, right now they're doing what if all of Marvel right now.
Well, yeah, that's right.
Big
Every
event. It's called like what if we wrote nothing but trash.
What if Wolverine was a girly man?
Yeah, what if we wrote nothing but trash? Anyway,
Broke back Wolverine.
Beer number 4.
Oh my
Is it a what if it just becomes mainstream continuity?
Yeah,
Then it becomes the outlet of the idea they need to implement.
So I will go ahead and answer for myself though. The question is, have I ever killed anybody major off? And I actually brought pictures. Share the screen.
Oh my gosh, no! Don't show anything incriminating. We're all here. I don't want to be part of this.
It's not that bad.
Oh, okay.
So in our very first printed comic, we have our Superman type character, that meaning the hero that started our heroic golden age, is Al Jin, and we introduce him in the first printed comic of Zing number 1, which I've got around here somewhere. And in that same issue, we kill him off. This is him down here after he absorbs the blast from a nuclear bomb, right? Atomic bomb. And to save New York City in 1939 or whatever.
Oh,
and,
that was a waste.
Oh, I tell
Saving
you.
New York.
New York. But yeah, so that's the foundation of our universe is built upon this heroic sacrifice. But months before, we got this, actually almost a year before we got this story printed in our webcomic, we introduced one of our characters, Tattoo, by having him pull the head off one of his classmates. And that was to demonstrate who Tattoo was more than it was the victim. But Whale Shark's story, that's Whale Shark, the guy who got killed here, his story isn't done yet. And hopefully this year I'm going to be telling a story that involves what happens with Whale Shark, because his story isn't over. So even though he's dead, believe it or not. So yeah, those are, he's not a major character, but his death impacts Tattoo, who is one of our major characters in our modern era of comics. Because I don't know, because that's part of an important part of Tattoo's long-term journey. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I'm curious though, for everyone that's here, since we all, at least in some form or another, attempted to off one of our characters. What was the catalyst for it? Like why go down that road?
Sales.
All right, at least he's honest.
To torture my audience.
Yeah.
See if anybody was paying attention, really.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a good story moment.
Yeah. For me, it
that
was,
one up.
for me, we were with our Zing anthologies and with the story of Al Jin, we were trying to build a universe that was built on these foundational concepts of heroism. So we felt that we needed a big sacrifice at the very beginning to reinforce that.
You needed an example that all the characters could live by.
Right. That would make this guy worthy of that kind of inspiration. And so Al Jin's death was that catalyst. With Whale Shark, it was really about showing that Tattoo is an unstable, violent person, to juxtapose him with his fellow villain school student, Greg, who's a total goody two-shoes. So
Interesting.
So that was part of that. So we used what seems to be meaningless death in the first part of that story to build toward how these characters are going to play with each other, and then later on from there. So,
Okay, I have a question.
yes.
All right, Specs, tell me about Boots. Because I'm scrolling through your Kickstarter right now. It's kind of dope.
Brian, did you click on the free chapter?
Tyler, black
Hey,
people are talking
calm
right
down.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
It's like, how do you respond? I can't say anything. It's over.
Tyler, all you say is "Hail Brian." Remember, "Hail Brian."
But
I was gonna, if I was amongst friends, it's I don't want. I'm not gonna say it.
See, this is why Ashley left you.
Oh my gosh. Can you post a link to that? Can you post a link to that Kickstarter in a private chat so I can put it?
I have
on
it at the
screen?
very top of the thing.
Okay.
Yeah. No. So really, seriously, Specs, tell me about Boots.
all right, she's a spin-off character from Legacy of the View. Talking about Ninja Turtles, she's basically like Karai from Ninja Turtles. But she has a robot suit that comes from her boots. It's more like an Iron Man type suit, like a mecha suit that she'll use in combat, but she don't have it right off bat. It got to build into the story. But it comes from, she's the daughter of a Zo, which is like a gang in Haiti, and a Yakuza. They got together, made her, and then built the storyline. They found out about it. They didn't want it, so she went from being a happy life to being a street kid to build up, to have her own ninja for hire empire that does anything for money. So basically, she's like an anti-hero. But it's just a story that I decided to make. That I don't know any really Haitian stories like that.
Twitless, scroll down. There's a link that you can show the interior pages of Boots. I read them last night. Oh my gosh.
That actually sounds pretty fire. When I sober
Right
up
there.
Friday, 1300, when I get released from the satellite class, I will actually read this shit.
I'll send you a link, Brian, again in case you lose it.
Look, hey, black people are talking, Nick.
I'm sorry. Hail Brian. Hail Brian.
Yeah. Stay lane. Anyway.
It's definitely a manga compared to comic book, so that's a different take too.
Hell yeah, bro. I love manga. I actually prefer manga to comics because the way manga handles its storytelling, there's usually like a beginning, a middle, and then an end, where Western comics just kind of just spin around in a circle. Countless number ones pointlessly going absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
The same beginning, blah, blah, blah. So, I'm hyped for this, man.
This is a spin-off, so, it takes place off-world. Then she has to come back to Legacy of the View world, so, it is an endpoint. It's just something that happens with her and she comes back, so... it's a good little story.
Awesome.
I want to tell. Yeah.
That sounds awesome. That's what's up. All right. Other non-black people, continue your.
Thank you.
I'm downloading that right now. So talk amongst yourselves.
I have read Legacy of the View, and I really enjoy it. So I think anyone that does decide to back right now, you guys are in for a fun story.
Hey, Nick, how do you like my introduction to Boots? Like the prior 2 chapters, do you see that I was putting her out there more, or?
Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea. I think you definitely made the right move there. Boots to me is I think both characters are great, but I'm more, like Brian was saying, I'm more intrigued by Boots.
Yeah, y'all like the 5th person to tell me that, so it's crazy. But you never.
What I think Specs is cool is that you have you're in a really good spot with your universe, because for someone like me who's backed all of the books, I can get the $30 tier, get Legacy of the View 4. And then I can also get all 4 issues of Boots as you start bringing them out. And look at that page on the right. Look at that suit. That's sick. So it's a really fun story. I just think you're in a great moment with your universe that you can take time away from what you've done with the Legacy of the View. Now let's put the focus on for the next year or 2 on Boots, and then. When her story is done, because I know Boots takes place, I think you said a couple years in the future in terms of where Legacy of the View is. Now you do, maybe a time jump, and now your character maybe is more mature. I just think you're in a really awesome spot in your universe, and Boots I think is a great next step. This is if Legacy of the View was phase 1, phase 2 is Boots, and I'm pumped for it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that same sentiment.
Yeah, I'm gonna
send this shit to Luigi, man. This shit's fire.
Thank you.
You planning some fan work there, Brian?
What's up?
You planning some fan work there, Brian?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I should stop doing that shit.
I'm
It
curious,
always backfires.
It does.
Specs, what did you use to put it together in this really cool book format? It's even making the page turning noise.
I mean, I can't get credit that. That came from Tyler.
Oh, I appreciate you. I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
No, this is the app that I use for my Patreon. And Specs was like, "Yo, what is this?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is what it is. Here's the
Do
app."
most people enjoy using that app? Has that been really working for you?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? This book form thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, has that been working for you guys?
It's funny on phones to people. Like it loads up pretty slow, but once it loads, it's better. But
once it loads, it's called First Flip. It's called First Flip Flipbook Creator, and it's a $200 flat fee for the app, and then after that you have to buy storage space unless you know computer stuff and can do some coding thing, which I can't do because I'm dumb. Maybe Brian can do it because he's dismantling satellites now, but so I
only do it for Mother Russia.
You pay $200, you get the app, you can then load up your comic, it turns it into this, and then after that you can buy space. And I think I did I paid $70 for 100 uploads.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm only on 14, so I've got a ways.
yeah, I'm only at number 2, so I'm nowhere close to that.
Yeah, so then we got time, so you got time, and you can always buy more space, and it's pretty quick.
Cool. So back to death.
Back to death.
Oh, I love death.
No, I like boots. Let's go back to boots, bro.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we that's part of the thing we want to talk about too. Was like I said, this was Spec's idea, and he's campaigning right now. Man, you could get in at $5 and just get the PDF tier of issue 4. So that's something that people should be aware of. So,
I think the best tier that he's got is the one where you get all of Boot, because you can back and get all of Boots right now, and you can get all of Legacy of the View all in this campaign.
That's a pretty good deal.
It's a sick deal.
And I try. I'm not trying to beat people heads in because I just want fans really. So try to keep my prices and deals good because I can bring the fans in. So mostly Tyler tells Nick tells Twitless, it works that way. I want that because my physical books here locally in Augusta, people has been passing my physical books to other people. So I'm gaining fans that way. So
whoa, hold up. You in Augusta?
I am in Augusta.
Whoa, bro. Hey, are you anywhere near Fort Gordon?
Yeah, I mean that's yeah.
Yeah, oh, bro. I know some people down that way. We might need to talk later.
All right, yeah.
It's a
Specs. One thing that I like that you talked about last night on my show, I'd love for you to do it on here, is why did you create Boots? Because you had a really good reason why you created Boots.
Yeah, that is really good. I should have asked that.
Oh yeah.
Damn, you stealing my thunder.
No, you're good, man.
But
this has now become a drone talk stream.
Well, everyone, welcome to John Talk. It's your boy Tyler. No.
Intro.
No, welcome to Drunken Talk with your boy Brian.
I don't even drinking tonight. What the hell?
Catch up, man.
I know.
How many are you at now?
4. It's been a long day.
Okay.
I had a 12-pack.
Around here somewhere, I swear.
Yeah, I can't do math right now, but I drink 4 of those
somewhere.
tonight.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, Specs.
Yeah.
Let my boy Specs pitch his shit, man.
Yeah, but I created Boots because my fiance is she's Haitian, and so my daughters, I got 2 little girls, they're not Haitian, so I really wanted. It's not that many female comic books or female heroes, anything to look for them to look up to. So I decided to make that character so they have somebody to look up to, or since I'm writing books, why not write something they can look up to? And even it's not that many Haitian characters or Haitian story. Well, I don't know, I'll look, but it's slim to none. I probably count on my hand. So like, on top of that, I'm pretty sure there's no Haitian manga at all either. So it's just an untapped thing that I don't created that I want to present to the world, not only to my daughters but to everybody else who will enjoy the story. It has all the elements everybody likes already. They got ninjas, mechas, and I incorporated voodoo because that's something in the Haitian culture. And not only did it is voodoo is everybody's accustomed to voodoo, VOODOO, but this voodoo I'm speaking of is VODOU, which is literally what it came from Haiti, which they used allegedly during the war for independence. So this
They were pretty
untapped thing I
nasty
want
with
to
that
present to
stuff.
everybody who's
Well, they were pretty nasty when they were doing that, especially in going
Yeah,
against the coloni. Was it the French? I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, French, yes. So like in chapter 1, I didn't it's not in there, but chapter 2 I definitely put some in there, but once I get the story going, I'll start putting different elements in there because more I talk about it, people hear my story, they want me to really go hard on it. So I can do the best I can. I don't talk to different people. I found a Haitian guy who helped me translate different words in there, and gave me some more source material to put in my my story. Because my fiance, she, even though she's Haitian, she's more Americanized than actually from Haiti. So I gotta branch out and get some books and do some higher learning.
Hey, do you know Dorothy's Jensen by chance?
Gene.
Yeah. Yo, hey. Shouldn't you be going crawling back to Ashley by now? Anyway, do you know Dorothy's Gene by chance, Specs?
I don't know it personally, but I have the Spirit Destiny two of those books, or one of them books, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be about 2 of them. That's a good person. I was gonna be like, hey, might need to like hit her up and pick her brain for shit. But
she's
all
still
right, you
making
already on her.
books.
That's cool. That's cool. I was just curious.
But
I don't know if she's still making books. She's
hey.
I think she dropped out, didn't she?
She got burned by a bad publisher.
Oh yeah. Short Fuse.
Yeah.
Oh, they went under. They're not around anymore.
Oh
yeah.
Wait, no, hold up. Hold the fuck. I'll be right back. Hold that thought.
Oh, you got stuff on Short Fuse because they've been like on for like 2 years now.
So killing characters
and killing publishers apparently.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's talk about killing the industry.
How about Action Labs? Did you guys hear about that?
Not really.
40 creators.
I
taking
heard
them
something
to
about it, but I
lawsuit.
didn't follow up on it.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, there's 40 creators are taking them to court for
40 creators can afford court.
I think it's like a pool, like where they're all going in on one like sort
That's
of
a big
thing.
number.
Yeah, so it's like one, like 40 clients under maybe like one particular
one
lawyer or
spokesman
something.
who can afford it.
Yes, it's a pool or something like that.
Speak for me, please.
Yeah, and it's a class action lawsuit against contracts and the way that they were running things and not paying
they're
up
in
stuff.
they're in trouble then. I mean, not just even if they, no matter how the lawsuit goes, like their brand is just like,
oh no, they're not coming back.
Yeah, their brand is so dirt.
Yeah, I know at least about
All
5
right,
creators.
back. Okay, so Short Fuse, yeah. So last I heard, the dude who was in charge of that shit,
Sean.
like he went and took everybody's money and just went ghost. And then,
I heard about that.
And then like he was supposed to deliver books for her and some other folks, but he never delivered that shit. And so she kind of took like the brunt of that. And he put out like this video, I think like 2 years ago, about like how, nah, that shit wasn't the case. I've been dealing with some stuff, blah, blah, blase. And like, I haven't heard shit from them since. So that's like one of the few publishers I've been trying to like keep tabs on to try to
He
find
dropped
out.
off the scene.
Yeah, they really did. And the reason why I kind of bring that up, because they also did, what's his name? Kind of weird. The Alpha Dog dude.
Yeah, because they were doing like 5 books and they all got screwed over.
Right. So it was just like, oh, okay. So because I used to think that dude was nuts, and then like you started backtracking and looking at everything. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. There's kind of like a pattern here.
He was doing a lot of backpedaling for a short while and claiming he was going to get stuff out to people, and then he suddenly was going on about how like money was gone, and he didn't have the money to actually send out books to anyone
because he was doing coke.
It wouldn't doubt
I was
it.
supposed to do Chef's action figures through them.
Oh yeah, they had like a bunch of merchandise they were doing to people too.
Yeah, and then I stopped, and then I was like, "Hey, can I still do stuff?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm dismantling it in like a week."
Wow.
Was there two
and
people
they didn't
running
put
it
out
though?
nothing to nobody. See, this is why I don't. I call them vanity publishers or Facebook publishers. This is like why I just don't attach myself to groups like that. Just kind of do my own thing. Because you never know when it's going to tank, and then people are going to suffer. But man, that's wild. That is wild.
Sorry, we've gone completely off your stream, Matt. Bring us back in, dude.
That's okay. I don't mind. It's been fun.
Hey, so all right. Last question.
Okay,
are you gonna have a cat with boots?
Oh
Like
my
Boots the
gosh.
cat? Ah.
No.
All right, never mind.
That's a,
All right,
that's
bad
a
joke.
Shrek
All right.
joke right there.
cat?
I
Yeah,
know.
never mind.
I know.
Never mind. All right,
Hey,
terrible
listen.
joke. I'm too drunk for this. I'm too drunk for the stream. I was trying to make a joke. Anyway,
I'll give it a half chuckle, but
Who are you?
it'll be a really
who's
elitist
talking right
one.
now? Who's this quit?
Okay, so we talked a little bit about campaign, which everybody should go out and back. Because the stuff that Specs has done has been dynamic. I got a couple of comp copies. We did a review of some of the stuff about a year ago, and I'm excited that it's still going on, and so that's cool. And I love that you're writing stories for your kids. I think that's so cool. I'll tell you, I've been in doing Indian webcomics on a ridiculously small scale with me drawing it and my friends and whatever for a long time, since my kids were really little. And I had a real kick because the other day one of my boys asked me about one of the like obscure mechanics of our universe, just because he was talking over science fiction stuff with his friends at college, and I was just like, did my heart good.
There you go. That's awesome.
So I think hopefully your daughters will be able to get much of a kick out of your stories as my boys have gotten out of mine. Because I think it's awesome.
I think he's doing it smart by doing manga.
Yeah.
Easier on production too.
I mean, it's production, but my page rate is almost the same, which is crazy. But like,
But you get to do more story though.
yeah, but like, only benefit the artist. He's also lettering. Versus with Legacy of the View, I have a letterer and an editor. So like,
Well, if they're good, they're good though.
So it's kind it's weird, but like, I don't know, like it's harder for me to market the manga versus the comic, because like manga readers, they don't tend to buy per chapter, so like they normally get the volumes. Then they also sometimes they don't buy the volumes; they just watch it read free online anyway. So it's kind of hard.
It is a very different market.
There's definitely a market there. So and maybe it's even a thing where like after you get the first few, you know, maybe after your next set of books, you'll be able to actually put them in a volume or something.
Yeah, that's my idea. That's why I have like in the campaign, I was like, these chapter, like if you get the physical chapter 1, chapter 2, and so on, it's only gonna be through the Kickstarter, you know. So like, I don't know, December, I put out the volume 1, and that's gonna be it, unless you got that digital copy and you want to print it out and pirate it, you know. But that's the only way, because it really serves no point in having, you know, each chapter like that. I don't know if Nick did it, but I have another creator who put out just one chapter, one by one, but they got a full volume at the end, so it kind of.
Oh, Adam Lawson does that.
Yeah.
It just kind of seems weird with that, you know.
I was gonna do that, man.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Adam Lawson does is he goes, hey, once the campaign's done, it's going to take us 6 months to fulfill. So what we do we know we're going to fulfill in 6 months. So in the meantime, every month you're going to get one issue of the 6 that you purchased. So you bought, so like when his digital tiers are always the single issues, and then his physical tiers are always the graphic novel. That's how he does it. So he always has something quote unquote new to release every month, even after the Kickstarter.
Okay.
But I guess you just got to find what works for you and what people are willing to read, because I think there's no one here that has the same business model.
No, yeah.
No, we all have like different iterations.
Some of us are barely a business.
Models.
Some of us have actual working business models. Speaking of Tyler, Nick, and Brian, and Specs.
Yeah,
man, I don't have any of my
everyone
own
except
success.
for me and Matt.
What are you talking about? I've got nothing.
But truly, like, as long as I get it funded, like I believe it sell itself. Like I have to have something as to show. Like I can, put a clip up panel here or some fan art. People will come. Like I probably can do a subscription on my website or something like that. It's just that, but I'm still competing with like Jump Magazine, where they're like $3, $5 for a subscription.
Well, in that case, you need to separate yourself.
2 series
from
I
that.
have, so it's like I don't know.
You need to separate yourself from that, because you need to look at it from people wanting to support you and your.
I'm trying to do it though, so like hopefully I get some return backers, to help me out. But it's I don't know. It's a I don't know. I want to say a niche market with the manga.
Well, Nick has a good point.
definitely
Nick has a
hard
good
reaching
point.
out.
What were you saying, Nick?
I was just saying,
To
Specs, you need to get
fans,
away
not
from
creators. Like you can go on the Facebook books
Yeah.
and find the creators and hey, I support you, but
you need to focus more on trying to not compete with Viz, because Viz is a whole entire different industry, and you need to compete more to get people to support you yourself. And people back these projects and even go to Patreon to support you as the creator itself, because they want to see you succeed. Oh man, I can't talk tonight. So the more transparent and more upfront you are, people are more likely to want to support you. The product becomes kind of a secondary thing in conjunction with you, which is hard, because I think as creators, we're all more likely to be more focused on our product and make sure that that's our identifier, the thing that we want to have people identify us with. But in reality, most people don't always identify us with the actual product. They identify us as us. Well, that seems like a conundrum to say unto itself, but
I think some of it too is once you've shown that you can deliver, then I think you get people that start to root for you.
I mean, he's got 3 books already, so the man can
That's
deliver.
what I'm saying. I mean, he has.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it. I think that you've shown that you got to deliver. So I think you may be at a place where you can leverage your successes into more successes.
Yeah.
Right.
Even here in town, there's other creators. When I first started, I asked the local comic shop. I was like, where local creators at, where their books at. He showed me like this small section. And he's like, it's so hard for them to put out books. And like with that, since I've been doing, I got 3 books now, and some same creators are still pushing that same book. Even like one guy, he has great art. He has his own manga, but he'd rather focus on like rapping, performing, and putting his book out. But his art is great. It's crazy how I don't know what I'm doing, and I got 3 books out right now, and they've been doing it for years, and they don't have many books, or their same books on. I don't mean to talk crap, but the same books they done been pushing is sitting on the shelf right now collecting dust, and I gotta keep restocking my books at my comic book shop. So it's crazy.
Well, because most people don't understand how to market and get things outside of the regular crowd that maybe they market to. Like so you hit a big mark there. It's putting out new product. If you only have 1 book, then you need to be hitting large, different groups of people to continuously keep selling that one item. But if you're continually refreshing your content and putting out new things, you can keep having circulation and word of mouth go up. Be like, hey, did you hear that he's put out new work? And you suddenly start refreshing into people's purview more.
Yeah. The only thing I have with that is once I do this issue 4 of On the View, that's the story arc's over. Then I want to have the volume, the trade version of it. My thing is, do I keep supplying the issues for the store, or I give them the volume book instead. You know.
It depends on who you're selling to. Some people only some people want floppies, and some people want the graphic novel. You have to determine. I would say keep a healthy supply of both at hand.
Okay.
You gotta look at both and see which one is like more cost effective for you. Like me, for example, on my Patreon, it's honestly more cost effective for me to release rags as a manga format. Not floppies, not full trade, but as a manga format, that's really more cost effective for me. I think that's something I'm gonna be leaning on more maybe in the next 2 years. But you just really gotta figure out like, okay, what's the most cost-effective way for me to like print this and then get it out to people. So you're gonna have people out there that all they want is floppy, so they keep the collection. And then you got folks out there like, I don't want to buy like 4, 8, or 9 books. I just want to read it all at once. And so you just got to have like your options out there open for everybody. So at the end of the day, the message is don't leave money on the table.
Exactly.
Just try to figure out like if you're doing like, hey, this cover for this collection's only for Kickstarter. Just do like a normal regular cover for your shop and just release it bare bones like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's how it was for issue 3. I have the Kickstarter cover. Then once that run out, I got the regular cover for the regular issue. So like, if you didn't get it from Kickstarter or got one from the extra supply I was mailing out, you won't have it.
Yeah, so you already on it, bro. Like I believe in you.
Yeah, but the variant covers, man. I see people sell these variant covers like more money, and I was like,
that depends on who you have on the cover.
Yeah, that depends on like who you have on those variants, man. So variants will actually go for a lot of money, and this is something that it used to get me like real heated at first, and I was like, hey, you know what? There's actually a better way to handle this. And I learned this real quick my first year making comics. I got a crash course. So what you really want to do if you're gonna do variants, what you need to do is you need to get yourself a CGC account or a CBS account and make sure that it's a creator account. That's the important part of this.
Okay.
And then you print off like maybe 5, 6, 10, let's say just 10. You do 10 variants, you sign them bitches, you send them to CGC to get graded, and then you can easily sell those for like $200 to $500.
Okay.
Easy. So you could just like throw those
depending on the
eBay
creator, though, right?
Yeah, depending on the creator, the popularity of the property, and the artist that you have on that cover.
Yeah, because that's not for everyone.
I mean, it's all specific. Like, but I'm just saying, you can actually, you got options, bro. You got options, bro.
Okay.
I feel like you're already there. You just don't know the right way to like lean on it to get the most money out of it.
But also at the same time, and I agree with everything that Brian said. And one thing one thing that he said that I think is great advice, and is everyone has to find out what works best for them and is the most cost effective way. Like I put on Twitter like the other day, like, hey, my book's gonna be $15, and people are like, oh yeah, you're gonna make no money, and I'm like, I'm gonna, and I'm like, I found a way. I found a way. A
lot of it's
we don't pay you to sing, bro.
We don't pay him not to either. That's the problem.
Ashley.
No, we pay Ashley though.
But you have to find like what Brian does is not going to work for me. What Matt does is not going to work for me. What Nicholas does is not going to work for me. What Twitless does.
That's wrong. That is wrong.
What Twitless does isn't going to work for anybody, including me.
Let's talk.
You got to find out what works best for you.
Except for the webcomic, which is free. But yeah, I think that's a situation like what's going to be the best fit for your product is going to a lot depend upon what's the best fit for your customers. People that are reading Legacy of You, what do they want?
Yes.
And then how do you find more people that want to read it? Right?
Yes.
Because I don't know if like you do a lot of shows, because that can change up what you do altogether too.
I mean, I haven't been in no conventions because right when I started, COVID-19 happened.
Yeah.
So far, I've been to just local events, I think local Creators Day I've been to, and maybe Free Comic Book Day here. But besides that, nothing. Like I'm nervous. I don't want to get no crying con crud mixed with COVID at the same time. So it just, I don't know. I'm
That
thinking
stuff
about doing it.
sucks.
It's been a while since I heard that word. Yeah.
Yeah, both at the same time. Because first time going there, so I get it and possibly get COVID at the same time. Like, ugh.
Hey, remember when conventions were a thing?
Oh yeah, yeah. I host a mini con right here in Scotts Bluff. I have for with no breaks.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah. Yep. We're. I invited you last year, Tyler.
But I can't be there.
You didn't want to come. I know how it is. That's fine.
No, he was so busy hanging out with Ashley.
Yeah.
Damn, man, you just set these up for me. I'm just like, bam, just I am.
So okay, so we're talking about campaign. We've talked about death. Does anybody have any? And I think it's probably a good time to call it a show.
I do. I just saw this on Twitter. Share my screen.
Okay.
I thought it was great. I think Perch posted this completely unrelated, but look, everyone is dying.
Cody's comment here because it's awesome, but
everybody is dying to hit Cyclops. So how does that interact with our conversation about death?
Everyone's
would you
dying
die?
to hit you.
Would you die to punch Cyclops in the face?
Well,
A little,
speaking of
a little.
Cyclops, they just literally killed him off in the X-Men comic book, and now he came back alive as Captain Krakoa.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, is that what was going on in that thing?
Yes,
so
because
confused.
they found out they can resurrect mutants, so they had to make a public death. So he can't come back alive, like, in public no more.
Oh.
I mean, there's probably a good reason for that. Cyclops has been kind of effectively ruined for a while.
Yeah.
I've never liked Cyclops to begin with, so was he really ruined?
I liked Cyclops when I was younger, but for lots of reasons. But I don't think they haven't done right by him since the wedding. Actually, just right after the wedding with Jean Grey. That was the
people
last
in
time
comics
that
and
Cyclops
weddings.
looked good. What?
People, comics, and weddings, it just never works out.
See, I don't necessarily agree with that, but that's a whole marriage in comics is a whole different topic, and we can go on for a long time about that. But
Yeah, that's a whole other drunk stream.
a whole other drunk.
And you'll have to
We'll
be
have
drunk on drunk on wine instead of beer.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Champagne.
Bro,
Champagne.
whoa.
Okay, right.
Champagne. We'll have
Okay,
to
I
do
get
that. We'll have to do that though, because like I'm
Only if
I'm
it's Santa and a
ridiculously happily married, and you're not. So we should definitely have a conversation.
Well, it's because I'm a dick,
Yeah, well, fair enough.
Spicy.
and I also have standards, so that's another thing. But you know,
And I gotta say that wasn't meant as a dig, just a stick.
that's fine, man.
So,
I know how to take a joke.
yeah,
I'm not Canadian.
I know you do.
Oh.
Fair.
Ah.
I know. I'm gonna get that.
I'm so
that
getting so
that
much
last
shit
exchange
for
is
this.
gonna
I
get
don't
clipped.
care anymore.
We're gonna get a video clip that's just gonna go on a constant repeat on Twitter in the next month.
Oh yeah.
How about
I think
the
this is a good
24
I think
hours,
this is a
too?
good topic. I think we talked on some really
Yeah,
Some
this
cool
is a fun
things.
show, guys. This is a
this
fun
was
show.
a fun show.
Definitely. All right.
Oh.
So
Yeah, okay. I got to put this up there. Neo speaking about Scott Summers. Neo says if Marvel wants us to believe that Emma Frost turned Cyclops into a dictator, but not Jean Grey making Iceman gay. That's,
Oh,
That seems
so-
legit.
So we should
that's
punch.
legit. That's a legit critique, dude.
We need to punch Jean Grey instead. Is that it?
Ugh.
I thought we
Right in
were
the
punching Mary
ovaries.
Jane.
Man, I tell you what. Well, the whole thing. Oh, it's a trash fire, guys. Before we're gonna go and give everybody a chance to pitch, because I know Tyler, you got something special coming up, right?
Yeah, man, I got in 7 days. I'm actually drawing pages from volume 2 right now. Here, you know what? Let me show my.
I think there is a link in the description to sign up for Girl with the Mega Fists for the campaign.
I appreciate that.
There is.
So that's that. So
So look, so there's my this is I don't have a cool Common America box, but I got a brown box.
Black History Month.
I can afford I'm trying to do my part. I want to be on the right side of history. So we
That's
got a
right.
brown.
Brown buff. Hey, a boy. Yeah.
So we got a brown box, and then what's inside is the it's the finished book. It's finished.
that's awesome.
And hold on, and then you just wrap it. And then what do? You just do ASMR.
Sexy.
But yeah, no, guys, The Girl with the Mega Fist is my series. It follows the journey of Eliana, the girl with the Mega Fist, as she has been appointed by the gods to protect Earth against the evil sons of Baal. However, every year there's two factions of the gods. Every year, one man and one woman is chosen. However, the gods have chosen two twin brothers, and she has to decide between the two twin brothers who's she gonna bring to Earth. Is she gonna bring the one who's the most powerful, or is she gonna bring the one who has her heart? So there's a lot of fun. I really like these characters. There's a lot of slander on, is Tyler going to deliver this product? Does he actually like it? How can he like this product if he told everyone he liked chefs and then blah, blah. I love this product so much that we have volume 1 done. It's 200 pages and I'm already drawing volume 2.
And
I love this product.
I like to take the time to point out that while that's a brilliant pitch, it's sacrilege. And you should be burned at the stake.
I'm a very religious person.
You're religious.
I'm very offended that the evil person is called Ball, seeing that's my last name. So Tyler, you, me, and Ashley gonna have a talk.
Let's do it.
Get you right.
I was gonna say, if you love that book so much, why don't you marry it?
I want to.
Okay.
It's actually the ceremony is this Saturday.
I want to. When my wife was like, "Hey Tyler, your book's in the mail." Oh, I ran. I told my boss, I was like, I'm done. And he goes, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I'll be back." What's cool, guys, is like, this is just a proof. It's in black and white, and it has it's uncoated paper, so it's not gloss, it's not satin, so it has like texture to it. So it feels like a manga, and I'm just really proud at this book. I'm seriously really proud of the story. I'm really.
But
proud
isn't it a manga though?
What do you want? What do you starting, Specs?
I mean, you say it feels like a manga, so I mean,
It's
a little big.
What would?
It's not classic.
Yeah, well, so I grew up reading manga, and then I stopped. But my art style growing up was manga, and then I was like, I want to get into Western comics, and I've been trying forever to get my style to get back into that. I could just never break it. So with Chefs, I was like, I'm just gonna go full on back to my manga style, and I get. Nicholas, you know the most about the campaign. Is it okay for me? Would I say this is a manga?
I would say it's not a traditional manga, but it's American westernized version.
That's a good way to put it. It's American. I mean, it reads left to right because I'm American and God loves me. And but
so Thai Guardian Spice.
It's got it's
got the same writing as High Guardian Spice, so
it's got that's
Hopefully not the same PNGs from Photoshop.
Nick, when did you level up your spiciness?
I've had a really long day.
It's been a hard day for Nicholas.
I've been teaching Nick the 3 M's.
Brian has been in my DMs, and let's just say it's been a good learning lesson.
Okay.
Oh my gosh,
Also, I'd like to also announce that I am betraying Brian next week, just so you guys will have a heads up.
Oh, sweet!
Yeah,
do you want to come in for a special after my show stream and do it here? Because I could use the viewers.
Rhys, make Tyler's screen big because he's trying to show his page.
Oh no, I'm good. I actually got bored at this point. I just was holding it for no reason.
Oh, okay.
No, I was not bored, but I forgot I was doing it because I was looking at my screen. I was looking at
one thing to talk about is when they first started bringing manga over to the U.S. market, they were printing them on regular size comic pages, and so they'd actually reformat them to be 6.5 by 10 and a quarter or whatever. So they were printing them American comic size.
Okay, you could take away that screen because I think Tyler's face in that big.
Oh wait, I did the wrong thing.
I think the best example would be it's very Tokyo. It's very Tokyo Pop, where the Tokyo Pop did manga in the U.S. and it read left to right. They still did the manga type art with the gray tones and screen tones.
Mm-hmm. Is it gonna be like Tokyo Pop where they screwed everyone over though, Tyler?
I'm gonna. What I'm gonna do is once I get your money, I'm just gonna keep it.
Are you going to screw over the artist?
Take the money in Red campaign. I have 2 successful of those.
Would that make it a cash grab of some kind?
I want to do I want to do the traditional cash grab. My character doesn't wear red hoodies and stuff.
See, Tyler's not going to cancel his but he is going to fund and then he won't deliver.
I'm gonna cancel my campaign in 4 days. I did it last time in 3. I'm gonna do it this time in 4. I'm gonna keep everyone a little on their toes.
Just wait till it hits $10,000.
You know what? Actually, that's a good point. I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna cancel it, but I'm gonna say, hey guys, it's day 3, so this is the last day to back because I'm gonna cancel this.
It's a pre-warning.
Yeah, that I'll meme myself.
There we go.
Hey, there you go.
Hey.
Cody in the chat's bringing up Gold Diggers and Ninja High School back in the day. It's
Nice.
Antarctic American.
Oh yes,
American
AP.
manga. Yeah. Anyway, so
I'm sorry. Tyler looking at the screen just with this knowing look.
I don't know what's going.
If you
I don't
know,
know.
you
It
know.
just made crack me up.
Ashley's last name was Panansky. Ashley AP. Ashley Panansky.
Okay,
yeah.
okay, all right.
So
Wow.
I don't think that's
First
true.
Dick was
Nick,
the
what you got going on?
deepest.
You want me to share screen? Do I?
Do it, man. Do it.
All right, man. So talking about killing characters, I am in that zone. I'm in that zone.
You must have really had a really bad day. Did someone break some of those tomato sauce jars? Is that what happened?
No, I just finally decided to open them up and start, going crazy on
Just
it.
guzzling tomato sauce.
Okay.
I said I've had enough, and it's time to unleash the Kraken. Whatever that means. I don't know what that means.
You mean
So a kraken is a mythical sea creature from underneath the depths. Oh, sorry, Twitless. I stole your line.
Charles Dickens once said that he was without
best known in its iteration in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Captain Ahab once.
No, we didn't.
Oh
So,
gosh.
Nick,
I have a
tell us
headache
a little
now.
bit about Radiant Rapture.
Yes. Okay. So Radiant Rapture is a prequel to Demon Hunter Raven, since I killed him off and sent him to the grave. Booyah!
The graveyard.
Yeah. So this takes place in 1103 France during the Crusades, and it deals with a nun named Naomi, and she becomes a demon hunter because that seems to be the only box I can operate in. So if you're doing demon hunters, knock it off. That's my thing. Stay out of it. All right. This is your warning right now. No other things. I even see you approaching the idea of a demon hunter. It's done. It is over. Okay. Unless Brian and Tyler want to talk something, then I'm cool with that. But she's got to deal. Oh gosh, I can't keep a straight face. Good thing there's no camera. Anyways, Naomi has to deal with the Nocturnal Army, and that's something that we heavily played upon in Volume 3. And I just decided to drop it, kill off all the characters, and now we're gonna go all the way back in this prequel and tell stuff. And she's just gonna slaughter everything in sight. This is a pitch, and it's going terribly. I don't care. I don't know. I'm here, but I don't care.
Guys, remember that Demon Hunter Raven takes place in a millennia long history.
Oh, that's right.
So this is one chapter out of that thing that is guaranteed by Nick Mueller himself to keep you on the edge of your chair the whole time you're reading it. You might even get a cramp in your lower back from the tension in this story, guys. Come on.
There you go.
We're gonna send you to the hospital. This book's so good.
And if anyone's wondering how does
40. Don't read this book
Child
without an
Sailor-
advisement from your doctor. That's how intense this thing is.
we're gonna give you a prescription for more demon hunters after this book.
Oh, okay.
Is what's gonna happen? I don't know. Did that convince anyone to back a book? Did I?
Did I do it?
Give me a thumbs up or something, guys.
Oh my gosh, you're like Gus. You're like Gus from the Cinderella movie. Happy birthday.
That was amazing. That was so amazing.
I didn't realize I had my mic on the whole time. It was perfect.
Oh God, that was funny.
Oh my gosh, I have a splitting headache now. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, welcome to the club.
So, also on a side note, I got to say that Cody had a funny comment here in the chat earlier. He said he tried to kill off his character 15 times in 3 issues, but he just won't stay dead.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, you cheeky bastard.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh,
Maybe we should have had him instead of Brian.
Oh, beer number 5. This is going to be great.
So, Brian.
What's up?
Yeah. You're still doing the Patreon thing.
Oh, yeah. Share my screen.
Oh, it's over here. You find it. Dude.
Yeah, all right. So you can find me on patreon.com/Narco. We are starting Rags issue 8 with our first and final crossover with Black Ops and Punchline. As you see, my boy Daquan Black Nito representing right there with his black card. Hold on, shot. We got like 4 pages left, and then they got to get colored, and then it should be out by mid-March. So, Rags and Break coming mid-March, earlier this year, and we're gonna have a galactic fuck ton of variants. So, if you like variants, we're only dropping variants on Patreon this time, and the plan actually is to do, like I originally wanted to do, all of our books and variants through Patreon until we get to the point where we're done. Shoot that over to AP and let them do whatever the hell that is that they do, which is wonderful. And yeah, pay rent.
So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for this story. I've been excited for this story for.
If this is the final crossover, this is a good crossover to do with people. These are the right. These are the people you want to do a crossover with.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and absolutely, Tim and Matt have been like wonderful helping out with this. Actually, everyone's been.
We find out that Brian's like, yo, see, there's like this really big dark side to Tim and Mark. Like they're evil. They're evil.
They are, dude. Like they're even more evil than I am, and it's like, oh my god, we're really like a secret evil cabal. But I'm just more blatant about my evil. They're like
just a
Diet
dark
Coke
cabal
evil. I'm like Doctor Evil.
Doctor Evil.
Doctor Evil. Because my thing to do is like beg people for their IPs because I need them. Anywho,
That's what you said to me.
right? Please let me have your character because I need.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm supposed to stop. I can't do this anymore. But yeah, Rags issue 8. We're about to drop this bad boy. You can also be able to get the digital copy on NewAgeNinjaCore.com once I release that, and then I think we're gonna end up doing a Kickstarter for the whole thing once it's all done. So if you don't care for Patreon or digital books, you'll have options at the end of this run.
Very cool. Thank you, Brian.
Black
Thank you,
Nito
Brian.
is a friend of feminists. Maybe.
I mean, in all the right ways.
Yeah. Well, all the bra burning and whatnot.
No comment.
No comment. No comment.
I mean, it's a winner in my book.
So.
Oh, just wait till it. Oh, you've seen the work in progress, Dick.
Yes,
I have.
I'm just wondering, how did you convince Tim of this idea? That's the one I want to know.
Okay, so full disclosure, it was like, all right, I'm just doing this because, all right, so this is actually like the second iteration of the script that I've actually done. The first script had a lot of all right, so we all know how Brian is absolute god at meme warfare.
Yes.
So the first script was actually completely nothing but meme warfare against Comicsgate, and I decided right before I finished it, like, no, this is really not the legacy I want. I don't really want to give these people my time or value. So I completely trashed everything and went back to like other things that I was like, hey, I'm going to do this and this and this. Like, no, why don't I just combine this all at once? And just went with that. So basically, I got told you can't have certain characters have their bras explode. It's like, all right, cool, fine. I can work around that.
Okay.
And I can do it in funnier ways and do other shit. So we're doing that.
So, Mrs. H says, going off of the friend of feminists, he frees them from the force structure put on them by the patriarchy. Let the jiggle commence.
Oh, there's a lot of jiggling going on.
There you go.
Yeah, support Daquan and Black Nito.
Support Black Nito in his quest for the thing. So
Yeah, let's
Okay.
support your stupid self-insert.
Right?
You unoriginal fuck.
Like the funny thing. All right, no, I'm gonna address that comment because like the funny thing about that is like I didn't even make this character. It was pretty much gifted to me in a handbasket and handed over.
This is
Shots.
Like another group of
Shots
chuckle
fired.
fucks, and I just like took
There's
it.
no shots fired. I've seen it several places.
Yep, like I just took it and ran with it and made money off of it.
Maybe that's my
Remember-
opinion.
Remember the 3 M's: meme, monetize, and move on.
Maybe
I'm
that's
doing
my
all-
opinion that this is a self-insert, guys.
Well, he
maybe,
is.
Maybe
he is
it
now.
is.
He's got my hairline. All fucked up and shit.
I saw that hairline. I was like, oh, that's fucking Brian.
Yep, you got my shitty pedo mustache too.
So Twitless also makes comics.
I
Let's give
do.
Give
I
him
make.
the time to talk about it. One is
I make. Yeah, I make a free one.
I'm
Super
bored
School-
next.
You know what?
Sorry. Go ahead.
You're not getting a Valentine this year. Is all I'm saying.
All right, no, fuck you. You're off my Kwanzaa list, bitch.
Hey Brian, if you want flowers for Valentine's this year, you better start planting.
I have already planted Ashley.
Okay, back to my comics. You can read some free ones at superschool.com, a superhero webcomic we put out weekly. It's comedy, it's high school, it's superpowers.
It's with a K.
It's with a K, which is totally illiterate. Or you can check out my more serious work, Adventures of Omega Girl, on Kindle, and Indie Planet issue 2 is should be coming out next couple weeks, and I'm already working on wrapping up issue 3. So join the adventure with classic superhero action. Nobody's dead yet, but you know,
The night's young.
It's a good read. I can confirm this.
I appreciate
I'm
that.
pretty
Thank
sure some people died in Super School though.
Oh, good point.
In hilarious humorous ways. But
I
I'm pretty
forgot
sure
about that.
I'm pretty sure there's some death in that one.
And speaking of Omega Girl and Demon Hunter Raven, for our next Comics Creators Club, we're going to be looking at both of those. So stay tuned.
Oh
for that.
no.
So Taylor, who is the artist for Super Schooled, says he's completely lost track of what's happening with the stream. So have we.
Welcome to another Drunk Brian Scream. Drunken Talk. Every Tuesday and Thursday night.
Wait, it's Wednesday night though.
Hey,
So guys-
it's Tuesday and or Thursday right now, okay?
It could be both. So I'll go ahead and pitch mine here. forceofgoodandevil.net. There's 700 pages of high school drama and comedy with superheroes and villains and all that good stuff. Check it out there. They're free. They're colored. There's some of them that are colored up on Webtoons. I don't have a quick thing for that, but you can find it by going to idealcomics.net, where we've got a link to a whole bunch of stuff, including our Patreon, which helps us to keep things going. So there you go. That is that's what I got. So guys, thanks for tuning in. It's been fun. I think that we have talked a lot more about not death than death, but the death talk was great. I loved that.
That sounded kind of goth.
We killed it.
Yeah,
we
definitely.
did.
Death Talk
We did great,
died.
boys.
The
We
Death
killed
Talk
this-
died.
We killed this stream. It was great.
Yeah, we did. All right, before we go, just everybody stay black.
I can't.
In all the right areas.
What?
Later, guys.